So you have to do now.
Yes, even the Bible says the time of salvation is now.
Now, yeah.
Not about tomorrow. The moment you discover I have a problem, why postpone, live with the problem for another 1 year? And that is why in this season, my birthday season, just like I did last year, I'm doing it again. I'm giving offers on all my coaching programs. Hello and welcome to Abby's Coaching House, your home of transformation. My name is Coach Blessed Abby, your mindset and holistic wellness coach. Thank you for making this a channel of choice. I appreciate you for being here. Today I'm not alone. I'm with my brother and friend, Steve Ricky. Welcome to our channel.
Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful for having you. Thank you for making time for this.
For today is an amazing day for you. Happy birthday to you.
You better sing.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday, dear Abby. Happy birthday to you. How do you feel?
Amazing. Amazing.
You forgot to tell people.
No, it was intentional. I wanted to see whether you forgot. But I feel great. You know, today is not just turning a year older, but stepping into another floor. You know, they say every 10, 20, 30, 40. So now I step into fourth floor. Yes. Yeah. And I'm so grateful. You know, not just because I'm turning a year older, but also because of the transformation that has happened in my life. Because I really thank God. It's been a journey, and I thank God for the journey. Some of there have been bumps. I would say maybe in my teens. Those were years where you are just with your parents. You don't know yourself. Your 20s, you're discovering your identity. That's when I'm in campus, job seeking, getting married. Now in my 30s, I think was more of discovering myself, storms of life, you know, with motherhood, with being a wife, you know, getting to know myself better, getting to know my husband better, and that phase was tough. And I thank God because even though part of it was tough, the tough part led me to where I am now. It led me to take my transformation journey, and so I'm very, very grateful.
40 is a very now.
Yes.
Siku za 40. Mwarubaini kumbe. It's a drug called mwarubaini.
The herb tree. Yes. And then
siku za mwizi ni arobaini. Jesus fasted for 40 days.
Yes. And the children of Israel stayed in the wilderness for 40 years.
Oh, life begins at 40 years.
They say so, but I suspect I started life a little earlier.
I don't know why people started saying life begins at 40. But I think 40 is a very special. Yeah. But then you look like a Gen Z. You look young.
History Gen Z imekuingia. No, I'm a mom to a Gen Z, one Gen Z, and he's actually been telling me, Mom, would you mean Gen Z? And I'm like, you don't go riot, I don't want to cry. Please don't. And I have 3 alphas. So I'm a millennial, a mother to 1 Gen Z, and 3 alphas.
What, 3 alphas?
Yes.
Yes. That's wonderful. You look young.
Thank you.
Look amazing.
Thank you.
And you can share with us what is your secret.
I think if you look at my photos, I'll try to find some. If you look at my photos 5-6 years earlier, I think I look older than I do now. But somewhere 4 years ago, I discovered that I had never prioritized myself. I had always given, when you get married, all I thought was I give attention to my children and my husband. By then I didn't know that I really needed to take care of myself, so I neglected myself. So what happened is, along the way, my health was deteriorating. I didn't have peace.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention to any matter concerning me until life hits you and you realize, I have not invested in myself.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful that time, around 2019, I chose to start investing in myself. On the plane, they say, put on your oxygen mask first for you to be able to help the others. Sometimes it's natural for something to happen and you want to help your children first. But you can't give people what you don't have. And that is what I was doing. But I started taking care of myself. I learned that self-love is not selfish. When you take care of yourself, you're able to take care of other people better. And so I've invested in taking care of myself, invested in personal development programs, coaching programs that help me. As much as I'm a coach, I still go for other coaching programs so that I grow myself. Self-care. I go to the gym this morning, being my birthday, I still woke up, did some weightlifting, and how else? That has to pay. So it's paying off. So I'm really, really grateful. Yes.
Yeah, you are a blessing. But it is a desire for us to also look young as we grow.
But you look great too.
Thank you for real.
Yes, I mean that. And recently, we did the challenge, the 21-day challenge. We called it 21 days of reorganizing our lives. And you are one of the few men who are very consistent during the challenge. Why did you do the challenge?
Okay, let me tell you something. In life, during the first days, there was a time whereby I was facing a lot of some challenges. Physical, mental. I would even go to the hospital, get tested, but nothing showed. The doctors could not diagnose any infection in my blood. So I was wondering, what is wrong? Then one doctor told me that he didn't find psychological help. I still have a mental problem. So the first day I saw you, begin with this transformation journey. I was wondering what is even the essence of that. But I decided, let me give it a try. So I started doing everything that you are doing. Yeah, you are, sometimes you can say that today you wake up, repeat these words that I'm written, tell yourself, repeat them. Close your eyes, meditate on these, the paragraph that I've given out. So I just gave a try. And I had a lot of acne pimples on my face. And within less than 2 weeks, they had dried up, although there were some scars that had remained. I had a lot of physical weaknesses, like feeling fatigued, feelings like fainting.
Yeah, I remember actually the very first time I talked to you is when you told me about what the doctor had told you. The doctor sent you home and told you, now we have done everything. And you were telling me, I've spent so much money and I'm feeling so frustrated. And I remember just telling you, why don't you try what I'm doing? And I remember giving you the personality, the inner DNA test, and you did it, and you read it, and you told me, he spoke to me. And that is when actually our journey together also began. And Steve's testimonial is on my website, you can actually check. so much transformation, especially in his health. And that tells you that our health is also dependent on our mindset. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it is very important. Because right now, I have no pimples, they disappear.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody told me that nowadays you look smaller compared to the last time, the way you look.
Yes.
And I remember you sending me that some
The test.
test,
Yes.
transformational test. And I answered those questions to the best of my knowledge. I wanted to be precise.
Yes.
And the answers that came out were exactly who I was.
The report.
The report that came out was exactly who I was.
And that's actually what we call self-awareness.
Self-aware.
Because most people are not self-aware. Most people don't even know why they are going through what they are going through. But somebody said that self-awareness is walking the journey halfway. At least if you're self-aware, the rest becomes easy.
Now, by the way, what really inspired me to begin this challenge?
The 21-day challenge.
The challenge that you began, the 21 challenge. Was consistent.
You see, throughout my life, or let me say for the last 5 years or so, I decided to venture more into personal development. I've told you that is an area I had neglected for a very long time. So over the years, I've now been picking up things, routines. I wouldn't tell you that everything I gave out was originally mine, but I've been picking it from my coaches, from online, the things that I watch. And so I've been putting them together and coming up with my own personal routine. My morning routine, my evening routine. But it reached a point I felt like I was not consistent. When sometimes life gets busy and we tend to get off track. And then I thought, next month, which is now this month, I'm going to not just another year, but another decade. And I wouldn't afford to start a new year of my life being disorganized. So I thought, let me do a challenge. I love doing challenges. I've mentioned that in January we did with a group a self-love challenge. We then did an intermittent fasting challenge. Every month I do a challenge for myself. In the month of May, I did a gym consistency challenge because I had been out of the gym for some time. This month, I'm actually thinking of doing an intermittent fasting, but longer hours of not eating and fewer, longer hours of fasting and fewer hours of eating. I've been doing 16-8, now I want to do 18-6. So I want to challenge myself, because I feel the 16-8 has become something I'm used to. So I love challenges.
You don't want to be like us, we always fast while we sleep.
At night, somebody said, even when in church we are told to fast, he says, I fast from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's very funny. But then, while thinking about this, I thought of doing it with a ladies group. There's a group, a WhatsApp group. It's called the She Eagles Club, where we challenge each other to do different things. So I thought of doing it with them. But then one man asked me, why do you always do things for ladies? You need to remember, we also need to learn and do these things. So I thought, why not put it out there on YouTube? It will reach more. And I'm glad I did, because you're here, you did it. This man also did it. And other people also got a chance to do it. I remember somebody commenting and saying, it's never too late to rewrite your life story. So she said this is what she was looking for. Another person, was challenged by the declutter that we did, and so much. So that is what prompted me to be this, and I'm grateful. It had great results. What stood out for you, by the way? You talked about making your bed. Tell us about that.
First of all, before you begin that,
Yes.
for men, most men are never open when they have a problem.
That's true. That's true.
Most men are very silent. They want to maintain, to keep their problems within themselves.
Yes.
They don't think that they can receive that.
Yeah.
So I decided even to partake the 21 challenge. And I remember I decided to make a bet. One day, challenged us to wake up early in the morning, spread our bed, and make sure that where we stay is arranged.
Yeah,
well.
It actually looks so simple.
So that day I decided I'm gonna mop my house. I took
you actually
cloth.
said it in the comment section of the
that was
video.
authentic. I took every dirty cloth. I took it outside and washed. I cleaned everywhere, and I learned to spread my bed. And there was something when I looked at my house, well arranged. There was a kind of peace that I had compared to when the house was disarranged.
Yeah, because of the mental peace actually. Yes.
Yeah. And since that day, I've been feeling anytime I wake up, when I spread my bed, and I enjoy my day begins so. And there is something that you remind me, I've remembered right now.
Yes.
You told us when we wake up early in the morning, we don't have to pick our phones. What could be the reason behind that?
I used to
As
be
in, how can a phone be
a
related,
problem?
a problem, because a phone could be something, maybe you are receiving some pesa.
But you see, one of the things I challenged us to do was to wake up a few minutes earlier. For example, if you wake up at 7 a.m., I was challenging us, try waking up at around 6:30 and use these 30 minutes for yourself. And Steve, really, there is so much that seeks our attention on earth. There is Instagram, there is Facebook, there is TikTok, there is YouTube. Even my video is waiting for you to watch. And there are your children, if, like for me who has children, a husband, a wife. What about you? What about giving this one person who needs your attention the most sometimes? And that is you. And that is the most neglected person. So when we wake up and the first thing is our phones, what are we doing? We are first giving attention to somebody else out there. Research says there is this happy hormone, dopamine. This hormone, we can, arouse it through our phones, through watching. But the problem with this hormone is that the moment it floods your brain, your creativity goes down. And research actually says that sometimes we wake up creative at 5 a.m. By 7 a.m., we have reduced the genius in us by a high percentage. So my challenge to us was not that we should not look at our phones, but just put it aside for a few hours of the morning. Personally, if you did a text to me very early, I will rarely see it very early. I will tend to see it at around 10. Because that's the time I would go to check my phone, check social media, unless there is something very important that I want to do. So it's very important not to start with our phones. Many people wake up and the first thing is TikTok, Instagram. What time will you then pray? What time will you do that meditation? And then you ask the same people, why don't you read? They say they don't have time. Why don't you exercise? I don't have time. Yet this gadget, being as good as it is, steals their time. So that's why we challenge ourselves not to look at our phones the first thing in the morning. And the routines that we were doing, waking up, breathing deep breaths, fasting, thinking of gratitude thoughts, fasting, those are powerful things.
Yeah.
They shape us. They really help us.
Yeah.
When you do that consistently, you find that even when life sends blows to you, you're able to handle them.
Yeah.
They don't hit you so hard. You know, being mindful. Most people are not mindful. So all these challenges, they are things that really help us. Yes.
By the way, there is a certain energy when somebody wakes up early in the morning. Somebody said there is the power of the morning. So when you wake up in the morning and you decide today I'm good, today is a boring day, it's most likely that the end from 7 a.m.
Yes.
to 7 p.m.
Yes.
or even to midnight, it's gonna be a very boring day.
Yes.
But sometimes when you wake up and you make your mind that today is gonna be a great day,
Yes.
you'll find the day you are so blissful,
Yes.
you're so happy,
Yeah.
and there is something tremendous.
You remember in one of the videos where I talked of use your brain power, I talked of your mind being like a boss,
Yeah.
which has these soldiers or servants that serve your brain. So they keep coming to you every morning when you wake up. It's like they come to you and ask you, boss, what would you have us do today?
Yeah.
And then you say, I'm tired, I don't even know what to do, I'm not enough, I'm just useless. And then they go back and say, boss says he's tired, boss says he's going to have a bad day. So they work very hard to give you a very bad day. So you have a boring day from morning to evening. But why would you subject yourself to that? You have the power to control your energy levels throughout your day. So it's very important to make use of that power.
Which I also think it is a great idea, not only for us,
Yes.
but sometimes when we wake up, before we have to greet other people, make sure how they slept. Because there were some parents, they have a tendency of shouting to people or spouses, they shout at one another early in the morning.
Yeah.
I think it can destroy the morale.
Yeah, but you see, if I wake up every morning and just disappear to some personal space, my husband will tell you every morning I just have to disappear for at least an hour. I want to do my meditation, I want to do my breathing exercise, I want to do some reading, some prayer. That sets the pace for the day. And that's very, very key. That even if there was a disagreement that I would have reacted to, I would then respond in a great way. Because we don't have to react to everything that happens. But then if my inner world, emotionally I am beaten, then I just find myself reacting and saying things I will regret later, doing things I shouldn't have done, reacting to my children. I used to be this parent who just shout at my children. But when I've taken care of myself in the morning, I don't find myself doing that. I find myself being more organized and being emotionally aware. And that's very, very important. Yes. Yeah.
Having a good mindset. What is the benefit of having a good mindset in the section of money?
Yeah,
You understand
we
me?
talked about that, yes. Yeah.
Money. How can it impact the millionaire mindset? I always hear you talking so much about the millionaire mindset.
Yeah.
And even the progress of our children maybe in school.
Yes.
How can having a positive mindset impact our lives?
As we grow up, we hear so many things. I mentioned during the challenge, we were talking about money. You remember we had this day that we just focused on money. And I mentioned that I grew up in an environment where scarcity was the order of the day. Out here, we don't have money, we can't afford that. That's too expensive. Do you think money grows on trees? And so that impacts your mindset. So when you grow up thinking about such things, even if you want to make a great investment, you don't feel worthy of money, you don't feel like you can actually succeed. So even though you are pushing forward, you are trying to move forward, there are these negative beliefs, what I call codes, that push you backward. They keep pulling you backward. There are children who are privileged to grow up in families where they are empowered every day. They are told positive things about themselves. Those children are bound to do well at school than a child who is told you will amount to nothing, you have a useless brain. I really don't know why a parent would tell a child that, but sometimes it happens. And so this child doesn't do well at school. So as parents, we have to really empower our children, their mindsets, so that they do believe in themselves. Now, if you don't believe that you're worth of having money, which energy will you have to wake up and go work, get the money? Because really money, even if we did all the visualization, all the meditation, money won't find you in bed. It's the mindset that now drives your brain soldiers to become more creative, give you ideas. All the successful people have been successful because of maybe just one idea that moved them, from having nothing to having so much. And so a positive mindset. You have talked about your health. Are you not a witness that having poor health can be just because of wrong mindset? So mindset is surely so important. We need to work on our mindset. It's very, very important. Yes.
But then I've heard testimonies of people who say that they had cancer.
Yes.
Yes. Some say that they had some chronic diseases. But once they changed the way they think,
yes.
Transformation.
I've actually had somebody, I'm forgetting his name, he's late now, but he was diagnosed with leukemia. And the doctors gave him months to live. And then he says they kept sending him reports of how dangerous that disease is, how people don't survive. And he told them, would you kindly stop sending me these reports? Because I want to believe to create my own report. And so he started believing that he's well and everything is okay in his life. Not that he denied the presence of the sickness, but he decided that he will keep his mind focused on the possibility of him being well. And he got healed and actually got into better health than before he was with the leukemia. So there is so much power in our minds, so much power in our brains that can even contribute to our healing when we are sick. Doctors will tell you most people don't get healed because of the medicine they are given in hospital. It's because of the belief that they can get well. Because some doctors have used, when they see that the problem is the minds of their patient, they use what we call placebos. Placebos are like dummies. So they give somebody and they tell them, this will make you well. If you take this, it's the best medicine. And then the people come back and say, I can't believe it. You are the best doctor. And then the doctor is just wondering, it's not me, you're the one who healed yourself. Yes.
You know one thing I discovered?
Yeah.
And one day you even told me that God did not create this body so that it needs eating drugs to get healed. We are not supposed to be taking Panadols.
We are not supposed to be walking pharmaceutical shops.
No, we are not supposed to be walking there. And there is even a friend of mine who seconded that. I came to realize this, that suppose maybe somebody is struck by depression. There are some chemicals that are released in the blood that are acidic.
Yes.
So the blood of a depressed person becomes acidic.
Yes.
So it can cause some tissues in the body
Yeah.
to begin wearing out
Yes.
and causing some pressures in the body, some problem with heartbeat,
Yes.
which can result to blood pressure,
Yeah.
then diabetes, then heart problems.
Yeah.
A certain man said he got cancer because he was depressed. You see,
Yeah.
all these are
Yes.
because of the mind.
And let me say, what happens is that when we are stressed, you see, stress is something that happens to us. It's normal to have some level of stress, because if we didn't have any kind of stress, we wouldn't wake up to go to work. We'd be lazying around. So stress is the one that informs you. You need to run when there is a fire. So that part of negativity is good, because imagine if you saw your house on fire and sat down and said, I'm having a positive mindset. It will not work. You will die. So some part of negativity helps. But then we are not supposed to live like that under constant stress. You know, when you have constant stress, then what happens? The stress hormones are released, negative chemicals. Now they must land somewhere. They will land on an organ. They will land, people get eye issues because they are stressed. And the moment they deal with the stress, they are okay.
So that means that the problem occurs.
Yes.
Again, depression,
Yes.
then blood pressure,
Yes.
then cancer,
Yeah,
something like
diabetes.
this. So
Yes.
that means that a person suffering from those diseases,
Yes.
if he or she begins to change the way he thinks,
Yes.
he can acquire healing.
Yeah, we have said many times, I've said many times on this channel, what we focus on grows.
Grows, yeah.
Whatever you focus on every other day, it will grow. I've also said that your thoughts shape your life. If you keep thinking negativity, that's what you get. If you keep thinking positivity, that's what you get. Of course, things will happen, unexpected things will happen. But a powerful mindset will help you to overcome so much. So really taking care of our mind. And you can actually tell our viewers, because at this point when you are sick and the doctors are telling you there is no hope, what changed in your mindset?
Okay, let me tell you, there was even a time the doctor, one doctor told me, I don't diagnose you with any blood issue, any disease, you don't know how we can help. Go to General Hospital and have a brain scan. And I was really disturbed. In fact, that was one thing that really elevated my stress. I was wondering, am I gonna die? Because the brain is a very critical organ of the body.
And I'm sure you will tell us, the moment you begin thinking, am I going to die? You begin to behave like somebody who is actually dying.
Yeah.
And somehow you begin dying.
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
energy levels go down.
It goes down.
Everything goes down. Just because you have told your brain, I think I'm going to die.
And there is something that I can even show you. Sometimes I would find myself, when I wake up, then I feel like a feeling of hatred. Maybe somebody wronged me somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like this person, I hate him.
Yes.
So there is bitterness that grows. My body would start becoming weak, weaker and weaker.
Yeah.
And finally, I would find myself sick.
Yes.
So I came to realize that I need help. That is why I joined. That
Yeah, I
platform.
remember that time now we talked and you started working on yourself and things really changed. Yes.
And it was not an easy journey
Yeah.
because it is not something that will end
Yeah.
within an hour or a single day.
Yes.
It is something that you have to force yourself.
Especially for you, you are a very logical person. Steve is this person who has to weigh what you're saying with logic. So sometimes we will talk and he goes and, kind of dismisses you politely, then comes back after 3 days and tell you, I think what you are saying makes sense. Yeah. So, but I think when you look at it logically, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was very bad. Mm-hmm. So I would grow from depression, and it wasn't, but I had to work through that transformational journey. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you the truth, after about 3 weeks, all the pimples, the acne, they had dried out, although there were scars that had remained.
Yeah, I've also shared in my forgiveness. I think there's so much to do with acne. Our faces portray what is going on in our inside world, because it's just a sign, like a dashboard, that shows this person is not okay. Because you remember, as I also shared my forgiveness, I had, sores. Yeah, and so much baggage, and your face just shows it up.
So I want you to explain to us this issue of having a positive mindset towards relationships.
Yeah.
Maybe I've heard people say that they were single, but once they started working the mind, they attracted a very great spouse, and they're together until now. Some say that once they worked on the mind, they got a promotion, they got a job, they started advancing in relationships, connections, and interactions. So can you share with us what really happens?
You see, like you will attract your likes. Most of us have a very negative mindset. We are beaten within, but we are looking for this good person according to our judgment. How do you expect to find a good person when you have not worked on yourself? And even through the challenge, remember, we focused so much. Every day we focused on gratitude. And we said gratitude makes you become a magnet to miracles. When you live in a constant state of gratitude, you're not just focusing on what you don't have. You have shifted your focus from what you don't have to what you have, the abundance that you currently have. And so what you're grateful for keeps coming. And I tell my clients, before you think of that great spouse that you're looking for, why not look within? Are you a great spouse? Somebody asked, if Steve was to marry Steve, would you be happy with Steve? Now, when you think that, it makes you go back within to just ask yourself, who am I? What am I looking for? And am I that fast? Am I that kind of wife fast? I had to ask myself those questions even within my marriage. I have mentioned here openly that my marriage hasn't always been smooth. There are times we had issues. But I realized I could not change my spouse. The person I could change was me. So I started doing introspection, looking within, asking myself, what am I able to change within that is not working? And when your inner world, aligns, your outside will just have to bow to the pressure of the inner world. But we will always reflect what is within us.
So you have to work on yourself to become a better person.
It has to be a very intentional journey. Yes. And I heard John C. Maxwell say that it's not just about intending to be. Many people intend. They say, I will join a coaching program next year, next month. But somebody said tomorrow is a very favorite time to a person who is not ready for change. Because what is this that you will do tomorrow that you don't want to do now?
So you have to do now.
Yes. Even the Bible says the time of salvation is now.
Not about
tomorrow. The moment you discover I have a problem, Why postpone, live with the problem for another 1 year, thinking, you know, many people will not join coaching programs or therapy because they think about money. Before I joined my coaching program, I had all the scarcity mindset. I believed I didn't have enough. But what was I doing? Every money I got, I spent on shoes, makeup to cure the acne that would not go away.
Yeah.
Think about that. You know, I had a box full of, all
Drugs.
moisturizers and everything. Why would I have spent that money on coaching? I will tell you for free, every program I have done, I have not gone there thinking I have money. I always feel like I don't have enough. But the moment you step your feet in, you know, like the way Jesus is calling Peter, and he tells Peter, step into the water. Now, if Peter didn't step into that water, how would he know that he can walk on water? Even people criticize him a lot for falling and doubting. But my friend, having the courage to start is such a big
in the
thing.
midst of the storm.
You go pray and try walking on Lake Victoria, and let's see whether you are better than Peter. So that's starting. And so for me, I am really grateful that I decided to start, because it has been fruitful. So just deciding that, making that decision that the time is now, I must do something about it. It's very, very key. And that is why in this season, my birthday season, just like I did last year, I'm doing it again. I'm giving offers on all my coaching programs. On the Incredible You program that you did, you know how transformative it is. Every person who has done that program, it's actually the same program I did for me to become a coach, now given in client version. So this has been very transformative. You get to know yourself, you get to know how you're coded mentally, the money codes, like you're saying, what drives you when you think of relationships, what are your baselines, you know, what controls you, what are your core values as a person. You get to know all that. Once I got to know all that, it became easier for me to make powerful decisions, not emotional. I would make powerful decisions, and it really, really helped. And so on that program, I'm giving a 25% discount. Yes. And that's a 10-week program. Very, very transformative. And then any other program, the forgiveness program and other programs, I'm giving a 10% discount. That's something I challenge our viewers. If you're there and this is for you, you've been thinking, I will do this, and you're talking about tomorrow. Don't keep procrastinating. Why would you want to live to procrastinate? Living the better version of yourself for another 1 day. Right here in the description box, you'll find the contacts. Just text in, WhatsApp, email, and I'll just explain this further to you, so that you also start your journey and live a joyful life.
But the time for change is now. And maybe you are wondering, how can I overcome this challenge? Like, as I told you, I had a lot of acne, a lot of problems. I felt like I cannot overcome. But now I want to assure you something. Do not keep silent. I don't realize something.
Yes.
Always keep silence.
Yes.
And face the battles in our lives a lot.
Yeah.
But there is somebody who can help. And
Do you know why? Do you know why we did that? When I was facing challenges in my marriage, for example, I thought I was the only one in the world facing such challenges. I thought it was absurd for me to share with someone else. In fact, when I joined my coaching program, there was an offer, just like the one I'm offering, and I said, let me pay the first installment and see what this coach will say. Nimpime, I see what they say. If they don't make sense, I will just disappear. But the moment I did, there was never a turn back. So it's that thinking that I'm the only one. Like you now, you thought I'm the only one going through these health challenges. But right now, I'm sure your eyes have opened up to see they are common everywhere. You can talk to other people and they can help you. So it's very important to just talk. It's really, really important. Yes.
So what have you learned? You as yourself, you as a coach.
Yes.
Can you tell us something you learned briefly? By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
For always challenging us. You're bringing a lot of challenges to us. We see a lot of transformation.
Yeah.
So personally, what have you learned through these transformation challenges that people have been calling you, texting? What have you learned from people, from you, from experience?
Of course, I've mentioned one, that give yourself priority. Never put other people ahead of you. Take care of yourself first, because you can't offer what you don't have. So take care of yourself first. People think it's selfish, but it's not. It's very okay to take care of yourself, because by doing that, then you'll be able to offer to the other people what you would not have offered before. The other thing is focus. What you focus on will always grow. I had to write that everywhere in my room. Focus on what you want. And it really helped me, because my mind kept going to things I don't want. So I had to work on my mindset in that area. And I will actually be doing a video for lessons learned at 40, so that I share them with people. That should be coming after this one. But really, I'm grateful. And another thing, actually, and this is very important, you cannot change anyone else. The only person you have power to change is you. If you have a problem with your mother, with your father, with your spouse, with your, whoever it is, a workmate, you can't change them. We spend a lot of time, women spend a lot of time working so hard to change their husband. My friend, they don't change. The only person you can change is you. So it's very important to give yourself priority.
Hey, you've been doing exercises. I forgot to at 40, every day going to the gym, running. Sometimes you outsmart us. At 40.
Not really. I don't think I do so much more than what other people do. But I believe in the small investments I make in my physical wellness and my health. There's a day around 2 years ago, I was walking with my daughter. So she's walking very fast, and I seem to be lagging behind. And she's asking me, what's the problem? And I would feel like there's a force
dragging you
back. Yes, it's like the force of gravity pulling me back. And I realized I have to do something about it. And so that's when my journey began. I began running. It's the goodness with fitness. You don't have to make it expensive, pay for the gym if you can't do. But if you can't, you can run. I did a lot of YouTube videos.
You really inspired me. In fact, I started doing different types.
Yeah, I saw you do that thing you mentioned about 1,000 push-ups.
You know that I'm very strong.
No, you can't do
I
1,000.
don't push my. Let me tell you something.
That was a thumbnail to make us come and watch you.
Let me tell you something. You know what? I don't push myself up. I push the earth down.
By the way, Steve has a channel, a YouTube channel called Steve Ricky Show. You can watch him. He does a lot of preaching the gospel, exercise, and tells you the truth so that you're not lied to out here. So you can also, I'll put it in the description box for you to check him out and just also support him. Yeah, so Steve, thank you so much for coming.
Okay, finally I want to say that personally I'm very grateful for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I'm a testimony. You've really you've helped me. Right now, as we are sitting right now, I feel so blissful. My body is strong. There was a time I would use over 10,000 in education, but right now my body is so strong. My skin is, my complexion is strong, smart.
Hiyo 10,000 bring and go eat, you know.
Lazima utakula ka kitu.
But anyway.
So finally, I want to encourage any person participant. Don't think that taking care of yourself is wastage of your money, your resources, and your time.
Yeah.
You should take good care of yourself. You should, before you make sure you take good care of yourself before you do other things. So I want to recommend Coach Blessed Abby. She is a great coach. She is confidential. You can share. I always share with her my problems, and she never discloses them to, as in, pour out my problems to people. Whatever I've told her, she is very confidential. So I assure you that this is a safe place, and she will work with you, and you will see great transformation happening in your life. God bless you so much.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate those sentiments from you. I really appreciate. I'm sure before you started, you also wondered, what is this coaching all about?
Yeah, okay.
But it helped you. So, viewers, you've heard from him. I just wanted him to share his story with us, especially the health issue. Just check on my website, coachblessedabbey.com. You'll find his story among the testimonials, and you'll see how he has transformed. He has really transformed, and there's so much change in him. Why not take that challenge yourself too? Take advantage of the discounts I'm offering and just come, give this a try, and you never know. It could just make a huge difference in your life. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. You being here every other time. You come watch, you support us. You know, to us people on YouTube, that like that you give, that subscription is what supports us to reach different people. The other day somebody told me, now I'm beginning to see your videos on my feed.
Oh, wow.
And it's because of you, our viewers, who keep supporting us every other time. So even now, if you have not subscribed, please, why not just give me that birthday gift and subscribe. It takes a second, it's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it will really be a blessing. Don't forget to leave us the thumbs up. Very important for the growth of my channel and even helping us to reach many other people. And share this with someone else who may need it. You never know, you could just be an agent of transformation. But don't also forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. We would want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about transformation and everything else we've shared? Lastly, check out his channel too and support him. God bless you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Steve, for being here. I appreciate it. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's see you again in another video.